We're telling you everything you need to know
about brewing on the Anvil Foundry.
The Anvil Foundry is made by Blickman Engineering, and they make quality products and have for years, so it's well trusted.
Yeah, the Foundry comes in 3 different model sizes. You've got the 6, the 10.5, and the 18-gallon model. So depending on how much beer you're brewing, there's a size that fits your needs.
The price point on each of those models is fantastic. And at the end of this video, we will tell you who we think this is the ideal fit for.
So let's go over some of the specs of this system.
So let's talk about electricity, because this is truly unique when it comes to that. This is, I believe, the only system that is a quick switch between 220 and 110. And we've told you in the past about how much we love when you do have 220, how nice it is for these little all-in-one systems. Get you up to that boil quickly.
The big difference is here, obviously you have a different plug type, 110 versus 220. So you can get an adapter to hook that up. But then the other thing, like Chris mentioned, you could switch over. There's this little dip switch on the back here. So you just switch that to go into 220 mode.
The cool thing is it actually comes with 220 and the adapter to take you to 110. So you don't really need to go buy anything new to get this to work at home for you. That 220 gets you to a boil quick, it does all the heating of the water quick, but sometimes you want to move it to clean it. And it's like super nice when you could just run an extension cord and not have to worry about having 220 over there as well.
Remember, Chris, the other thing we talked about is like, hey, I got 220 at home, but I'm gonna be brewing at a buddy's house or somewhere else off site. They only have 110. So you've got that ability to switch kind of between the 2 different ones.
Yeah, and as is, this doesn't come with a pump. But if you get a pump, which it has an option to upgrade to that, you'll need 2 plugs to go into, as opposed to this having a plug itself that will control that pump. This thing has some great features, so let's start with the controller.
What I loved about the controller is it's simple. I came from IT, so I do love all the bells and whistles and being able to, remotely control it and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, sometimes simplicity is just the best. The other thing I loved was the tactile buttons. They've got I love a good mechanical keyboard. It kind of has that same feel. You click it, you feel it click. It's got a nice rubber spongy. It's not like these buttons like, did I press it? You pressed it, and I like that.
The other thing I love about the controller is simple. 2 key things you can really do with it. You can do a delay start, and the delay start, once you use it, is really easy to understand. There's no programming needed once you get how you set it up. Number 2 is really, it just is what temperature. That's it. And then you're making adjustments, and you can actually make adjustments to the power, which is truly unique in that you are cutting back the power, let's say at a boil or whatnot, as opposed to it running full boil and then having to kill it and then bring it back up and kill it again. It's actually lowering the actual power, not just it, but you.
The other thing, speaking of temperature, one thing that I really liked is they've got a button to go between Fahrenheit and Celsius. So it's not like this afterthought of like, it comes in Celsius. You could quickly, easily change.
Yeah, you don't need to look up the manual to figure that out.
Yeah. One thing that we noticed when we were brewing on that I thought was pretty cool is as we're trying to ramp and get up to a boil, you start to hear an audible beep. So when it hit 200 degrees Fahrenheit, it let us know, hey, time to take off the lid. So that's kind of nice and just helpful stopping a boil over. And we all know boil overs are horrible.
But if you get a boil over, the nice thing is this thing is waterproof, so you don't have to worry that you just ruined your whole system. The next feature that's pretty cool that you buy separately is the pump kit. It's pretty basic, as you can see here. You have tubing, some basic clamps, the pump, a flow restriction valve that's literally just a pinch clamp, and a stainless little end to get it right back in again. Simple, but it is separate, meaning you gotta have your own plug for this thing. And if you're running 220, then you need a 110 over there as well. But it does come with this nice little switch built into the cord, which makes it easy to control.
The other thing I like about the pump, since it's not integrated, it's a little bigger, beefier than some of the other systems, and you can also use it for other applications. So, I don't need to pull out my whole system. I've got a pump essentially, that I can move anywhere, use on cleaning my fermenter, things like that. Another feature that I really love on this system that you don't necessarily see on other all-in-one systems, especially in this price point range, is its double wall. I loved it so much I actually kissed it on the day, just to kind of prove that you could touch this.
That got weird.
What do you guys think? Should we have Vito kiss all the equipment from here on out? Let us know in the comments.
I only kiss what I love.
Keep in mind, it's double walled, so it's not gonna be cool to the touch, but it's safe. You can touch it.
Besides that, it also keeps in heat better. So it's gonna hold in your mash a little better. Negative is, when you go to cooling, you want to get that heat out of there. But I think overall it's a huge positive.
Next up is the lid. It's solid stainless, which is nice because I've broken the glass before. Although you can't see through it, and that's a little bit of a bummer. You get this little tiny hole to look through. So as you get up there, that beep was awfully nice at 200 to let you know you're getting close. It also has this nice integrated silicone gasket. And if you are gonna use it as a still later, that's nice to where you can clamp on, but just even putting it on and off with that silicone gasket really feels solid on there.
All right, next let's go into the chiller. So there's a couple things that I really liked. First of all, they give you everything you need. Some of the other chillers kind of come with just the hard piping and then you got to get the tubing sets, etc. But then the other thing that really stuck out to me when we went to use it is this extra little bend. So that allows it to kind of sit in there and have the lid sit on there nice instead of these big L's coming out and your lid's all gangly hanging off it and you need a lot of tinfoil. I know we'd love to have our tinfoil. So this kind of cuts back and saves tinfoil, and who doesn't like saving tinfoil?
And they use like a 3/8 stainless as opposed to a 1/2 inch. And I think that makes your gap that much smaller and easier to seal up afterwards.
All right, so this system, let's go into the power. It has the ultra low watt density elements, which is important for scorching. You don't want to scorch your grains, get those bad tastes. But Chris, there were some things you noticed about that you liked even better.
Most of these systems come with that, and that's pretty standard, but I like where they put the thermometer. The thermal well comes up a bit higher than most do, and so you feel like you're probably getting a little more accurate of a reading, especially since it doesn't come with the pump constantly churning it, and it just sets it up just a little bit off of the burner so you don't feel like you get the effect of the burner on the thermometer. Last but not least, let's talk about the mashing on this system. This is the mash basket. Pretty standard, except for it comes with the perfs on the side, which is awfully nice when you need that flow. And it has a unique hanging basket style. These two clips, which at first I didn't know if I'd like, but after using, actually I rather well appreciated them. When you pull them up, it pulls the whole basket off to the side a little bit. It feels very secure on there. I didn't think it would, but it does. And if you get the bigger size, it actually comes with 2 of these so you can do 2 different heights. The other thing is it comes with the Blickman style false bottom. And these are time tested, ton of surface area. If you're gonna use them, you do use them with the things up. So our experience with the mash was actually great. Yes, I did in a prior experiment find out that you do need to read the instructions and restrict the flow rate because you will compact that mash. But on our brew day, it worked perfectly. We did slow that mash way back by twisting that clamp so it slowed it way down. This goes on top, so as the liquid comes through, it distributes it nicely and it really spreads it out. We would say, as always with these all-in-ones, consider using some rice holes. It just makes it easier and the flow go better. The other thing is we used the bag on this one and I'm not 100% sure we needed it relative to some of the other all-in-ones. I probably will use it on every batch I use just because it's nice to get all that little grist out. But I think they've done a nice job with the setup to where you really didn't need it.
Yeah, I think it's good to use that bag. It's a safety net, pun intended. A lot of you have commented for the part number on that bag. We're gonna leave it below so you could use it on your all-in-one systems.
So overall, let's talk brew day. It went pretty smooth, pretty easy. 110 on this was great. And I ran it off an extension cord for where we were using it. I can only imagine if you plug this directly in the wall or into 220, it's even faster. So you can't go wrong with this. You're running everything manually, but most of the time, that's how I run things anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I said it several times on the brew day, I love all these bells and whistles and gadgets of some of these other systems, but at the end of the day, I always end up just running them in manual mode. And I think really you just want a tool that works and works consistently, and I believe this system is it.
So let's go over who is this unit for? Who's the ideal fit to be using this unit? If you're getting into all grain, or this will be your first all-in-one all grain system, you cannot go wrong with this unit. It's got bulletproof hardware. So not much to go wrong, not much to learn before you get going. You're not mixing in all this technology. You're just getting the technology you need to make those batches.
If you've got more money to spend, of course you can get more for your dollar by going with some of these other systems. But like Chris said, this is an amazing system to get you going. And then you can apply that money to things that matter more, like the cold side, a great fermenter, fermentation control. So I'd highly recommend this for somebody who's looking out to get started, who doesn't have the budget that some other people might have.
So to learn more about the Anvil Foundry, go to morebeer.com and put that in the search bar.
And as always, if you have any comments about this video, questions about the Anvil, let us know in the comment section of this video.